Hello, everyone. This is Joanne Williams, and this is my psychiatric service dog, Riley. And so I want to tell you today about how to get a psychiatric service dog and the training needed so that they can help you with panic attacks, post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, even social anxiety, and more and talk about the benefits to having a psych kit, even if they're little. So you're gonna hear more about all the qualifications. They can be any size, any breed. They cannot restrict these, even in housing or for emotional support animal or psychiatric service dog. I'll tell you about emotional support animals as well. And I'm going to take you through what I do as a licensed mental health professional to certify people to have psychiatric service dog, and I'll throw in emotional support animals because that kind of changed in the last couple of years. And that seems like it has created so much confusion for people. In 2020, they did change the laws, and I'm going to go through that. But what I want to share with you today is who can and how to qualify for psychiatric service dog, and what does it mean have a service dog trained. That's a big misconception. And ways that a psychiatric service dog can help you with panic attacks, post-traumatic stress disorder, depression. And what are the tests? And I walk you through the certification process, and then so you're going to understand what to say and what you never have to say and how to get certified to have a psychiatric service dog. Okay. So I'm going to walk you through a little presentation because I really want you to see this for yourself, really kind of how non-confusing it is. I think everybody has really made a bigger deal out of this because um, people just don't know. So this is what I want to share with you today. And I am Joanne Williams. I am a licensed 30 plus year licensed mental health professional. And you can always find out more at esapros.com here at the bottom. So I've got lots there, how to qualify if you have questions about it, so you can see a lot more there. I have been certifying, I, s- I kind of fell into certifying for emotional support animals. And there was a like 8 or 9 years ago when you could have an emotional support animal fly with you. And now that is has changed, but that's what I found out about um, the certification. And I got certified from another therapist, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I can do this better. So it started to become my specialty, truly, as a licensed mental health professional to help people have an emotional support animal or a psychiatric service dog. So that's what I want to go through you with you today so you understand more about it as well. So here I'm going to go through the three laws governing psychiatric service dog and ESAs. Understanding what you need to how to get certified to have either one, a PSD, a psychiatric service dog, or an ESA, emotional support animal. And the training for the tasks for the psychiatric service dog and that they do for you, as well as the Department of Transportation airlines form to fly. So there is requirements that you go through certain processes to be able to take your dog with you, to fly with you, and how to make sure you know exactly what to say, to the only questions that can be asked, and if somebody tries to refuse you. So there are three federal laws that I talk much more in depth about all of this in our second session, and I'll go through that in a minute. Um, but the first law is the Fair Housing Act, FHA, 1968. And this is not, none of these are new laws, 86, 90. So these are the three laws. But now for emotional support animals, this is the only law that does cover them. So it is only for housing. And you still have to get a letter from a mental health professional and present it to your property manager. And I do certify for this. And basically, what it is you need to have some symptoms that I look for as a mental health professional. And it has to affect a daily functioning like your sleep, concentration, or maybe it getting out and socializing easier. But it can be any dog, I mean, any animal, not just dogs. Any weight, breed, they cannot restrict it. There should be never any pet rents, pet deposits, things like that. But if your dog does do damages or is considered to be a nuisance, it can null and void it. So this isn't just carte blanche that you can do whatever you want if you get an emotional support animal, but they cannot restrict you from having them in housing with the letter. Okay. And then there is the Air Carriers Access Act to fly. And so that came after the housing law. And that is what changed in 2020. That, like I said, we were able to fly with our emotional support animals. But in 2020, the language in the law changed, the flying law changed. And they are now using the language from the Americans with Disabilities Act, the ADA, again, 1990. But this additionally includes the 88 public places, public transportation, stores, restaurants, basically everywhere now. But it is only dogs. And you can have up to two dogs, or that I will certify for, but they each do have to do a task. And I'm going to go into that in a second. So this is what changed was the flying law, I will call it the Air Carriers Access Act, changed in 2020 that using the language from the Americans with Disabilities Act, the law itself didn't change, but they did change the language. And as I really understand it, the airlines are the ones that created this psychiatric service dog because before, it was just really a classification of service dogs that are trained to do a task. But now it's more a medical service dog for medical blindness, hearing impaired, and now psychological issues. So the airlines have kind of put it into two categories, but it truly is one umbrella of service dogs. So, and so again, the definition of what you in the airlines law changed. And now they're using the definition from the ADA on what is considered trained to have a psychiatric service dog. And under the ADA definition of training, I call it the three R's. And these are the tasks that your dog needs to do for you. So your dog needs to recognize, respond, and reduce your psychological symptoms. That's the task. Okay. Most people think it's behavioral training. It is not behavioral training. All dogs, ESAs, all have to be behavioral trained. They have to know how to behave in public. You can't have a out of control dog, or they can say, they can't be there. Of course. So this is a little silly in some ways, but that's what everybody seems to think that it has to be a behavioral training and you have to pay for training. That's not true. It's never been like that I've seen in any of the three laws ever going back 50 whatever years that you've ever had to have them behaviorally trained by a training organization or a professional trainer. You can train your own dog. And as for a psychiatric service dog, as trainers have actually said to me, I cannot train your dog to be in tune with your emotional symptoms. It's the relationship that you have developed with your dog that they notice that you're different. Your breathing changes, maybe in a panic attack or a PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder trigger. So they are noticing and they are responding, and then they help to reduce the symptoms. Okay. So again, you can train your own dog, even as I understand it, for blind dogs, guide dogs or hearing impaired, blood sugar. You can do your own training. And what I do recommend for a lot of clients, because a lot of my clients do start out as emotional support animals, and then they want to go up the next step to be a psychiatric service dog. And you got to notice what your dog is being in tune with you for. If they are noticing something that you are starting to breathe differently because of panic, and they're coming over to you, and they haven't quite done it consistently because for a psychiatrist, they do have to do it consistently. Give them a treat. Good boy, good girl. Reinforce it until they are doing it consistently. And that is also considered trained. So you can do this, but you have to notice. You have to get in tune with your dog and know that they are consistently helping you with these symptoms. Okay. And nobody can ask you to demonstrate. That's one of the fears that I hear a lot. Some of the things that can be considered tasks, again, under the ADA, that they're applying pressure there. They jump in your lap, they kind of hug you. A lot of dogs will do. So that your panic attack symptoms reduce, or during a panic attack, or before, they may even notice before you have them. They alert you, notice, and then they notice it so you can start breathing. It's a technique that I always teach in every single psychiatric service dog. It's a way that you can take down panic attacks quickly with this vagus 4 and 8 breathing. You can learn yourself, calm yourself immediately. It sends a calming chemical into your system immediately. Or they lead you through a crowd or around a crowd. They may alert you before you get so overwhelmed from depression or that you have to leave a social gathering. They are alerting you to calm yourself down, start your skills, whatever you've learned about how to calm yourself and how to deal with the anxiety. If you haven't learned, please reach out to a professional. And I'll put my information is right here. You can call me, go to esapros.com. There are ways you can do this yourself. It is not that hard. And you don't have to do dozens of sessions if you don't choose to with me, but you can learn skills. Maybe alert you to bring you back to present, distract you so that again you can stay more present because of PTSD. So these are just some, but they can help you with panic attacks, depression, get you out of bed. There's lots of different ways that they can help you. And so to get a certified psychiatric service dog, there I do 2 sessions with clients, okay, at Next Generation Psychology. The first session is really to find your symptoms. What's going on in your life that is creating this anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and connect the dots between your symptoms and the task that your dog helps you with. Okay. The second session is much like what I'm doing here, but much more detail to give you confidence that you can do this, to understand the details of the fear. What do you say? What you never have to say. How to use a little photo ID that you get as part of the 2 sessions and a full-size letter that you will receive by email after the sessions that you would give to your property manager or give to the Airbnb to verify that you do require this. You're going to understand. I also go through the 2 forms. There's actually 2 forms, airline forms. The Department of Transportation airlines form that you do have to complete and get in at least 2 days before you fly. I go through every line with you. There's actually 2 of them, but one of them you're probably never going to see or never going to use. It is if only if you fly over 8 hours. But this is the form, and you can pretty much get it anywhere. You can Google this Department of Transportation service animal form, or you can go to the airlines that you're going to fly. And if you put in service animal form, you'll get this. But this does have to be completed at least 2 days before you fly. See, this is that now a federal symbol of the Department of Transportation. It's no longer an airline form. Used to be with emotional, every airlines had their own form. It was totally confusing. But this is the form. I go down through this form because it is very important. You understand some places and things that they kind of, I think, use kind of trickster language here. And so that you understand, exactly what to do, how to do it. And that's really what I always want to do. And everything I do is help you understand, help you feel more in control of how to do this. But you do want to get a confirmation email back. And I kind of walk you through that because every airline treats this form differently. I wish the Department of Transit had said, this airlines, you have to do this, this, and this, and you're done. Do it once a year. And it's all this, it's not all the same. Every airline treats this differently. International flights you can use this for, but you because they any airlines that flies in or out of the US must go by US law. So and again, I'll help understand that. Or if there's any questions, there is a complaint resolution official or officer and CRO. And the certification, through the certification and explaining this, there's really only two questions that can be asked. This is really critical. Is your psychiatric service dog required because of a disability? And you understand that if you get certified. What are the tasks that your dog is trained to help you with? And that is why we go through those three R's and develop a concise statement for you to respond to. All you have to respond to it because people ask wacky things. We'll tell you that much. As having a psychiatric and emotional support animal and using this. So it is a little weird in some ways, but you will get a little picture ID with your dog on it. And those two questions, as I point out here in this, that is on the back here, that of the ID, what are the tasks your dog is trained to do? Is your dog required because of disability? So you do have to respond to these questions. And I go through how to use this for ease, for verification, going into restaurants, stores, hotels, because you just need to know what to say. It's not required, but I'll tell you, it's a heck of a lot easier. It builds your confidence to know exactly what to say, what to do, and what to do if somebody actually wants to refuse you. You can go to esapros.com and you can see more, make sure how to qualify and really the states that I qualify people for because I do have licenses in 4 states. And then the second session, I really go through all those things that for confidence to know exactly what to say, what to do, build that concise statement, know how to use the ID, know how to use the letter. This is a replica of the letter that you will receive by email the same day so that you will know exactly how to use the ID. And again, after the second session, that you will receive the letter will be attached by email the same day. There, I do have an expedited service as well if you need it within 1 week. Otherwise, we get you in usually within 1 week to 2 weeks. Anyways, and then there I give you the links to the three laws, links for individual sessions if you want to go beyond. Just having a psychiatric understanding you've got some symptoms here that you can learn skills for. I also give a link to courses. I do courses on panic attacks, and I make sure that you will, and even if you see this on YouTube and look below, you can see my Learn Desk School that I have some courses there that you can do video courses yourself and learn some skills. And then we send a little laminated ID by mail, and we generally get that in the mail the next day. So that is really what I wanted to go over with you today. Understand the process to getting a psychiatric service dog. And we're really here to help you. Nobody seems to know about this is really one of the reasons why I want to get this out. We get most of our referrals from people that tell somebody else because nobody seems to know even about emotional support animals for housing, psychiatric service dogs that you can fly now. They think you can't. And as well as go into all public places with you, stores, restaurants, they can be by your side to give you that reassurance that you can do more when you've got your little fuzzy fellow with you. And so we really want to help you. You can call me at 760-485-6784. And I am Joanne Williams. And you can go to esapros.com. And we are really happy to help you at any point in time. So welcome. And we're here to help. Bye for now.